Hey guys, Mike here. So, oh boy, what a day, right? I have been waiting to do this video and I am pumped to do this video. It is jam-packed and we're going to get into what in the world happened in the market today. I know you're thinking, you're like, my God, the market roared. It must have been the economic news that came out today must have been unbelievable, right? And so we're going to get into that. Then I'm going to tell you what really happened in the market and drove this rally that happened. And then we're going to get into Tesla because it is humorous and funny, and I actually found right before I started recording this video, something came across my feed, and I said, you got to be kidding me. If this is true, which I would not put it past anybody, it is going to be absolutely insane. And so let's get in first. What happened? What economic news just was so good that the market said, we love this? Well, let me go ahead and show you right here. You got a massive drop in the ISM Services PMI for December, coming in at 49.6 versus 55, which is a major drop. And that's a really big deal, okay, because that's the biggest drop since May 2020. We are a 70% services economy, and this is what's been holding up the whole economy right now, right? Then you got, oh, here comes job data coming out. Look at this. The U.S. added 223,000 jobs, more than expected. The unemployment rate fell to 3.5% from 3.7%. Holy cow. So hot, right? But here's what the market saw. The earnings, and I put this in Discord immediately, and as soon as the market turned, it went up 1% in a matter of seconds, right? Algos kicked in, boom, because they said, wait a minute, earnings growth was only 0.3%, not 0.4%. This is fantastic. So the narrative of the day is inflation. See, this will help with inflation. Yeah, that's what's really good. And all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, what about the unemployment and the hot jobs market? And ain't that been the narrative as far as the Fed and blah, blah, blah? No, because with the services dropping now, they're going to have to stop raising rates. They're going to have to cut, right? And then what happens? And by the way, if you want to see what happens when yields go down, this is what happens. Anytime yields tank, and they tanked right here. Here's the S&P. Actually, I think this is actually the Qs. I put the QQQ because risky assets really go up when the yields tank. Yields tank, what do you see? The Qs skyrocket, right? That's the way it works. Always works that way. Tell you what, let's add the dollar in here. What happens when the dollar goes down? Too. Yes, when the dollar goes down, yes, risky stuff will go up as well, and stocks will go up. When you got the dollar and yields dropping the same day, oh yes, you're going to get a nice rally. And of course, look what happened to the SPY. There was a gap up there. Hadn't been filled since December. So guess what? We filled it down to 0.02%. And I'm actually disappointed in myself here because if you look down there, you see how it bounced off that trend line? Couldn't go below that. But here's what disappoints me. I actually miscalculated this. I said, I'm not Nostradamus here, but 226, I believe. Watch for 388.70 to complete the fill of that gap left in December, right? So an hour and a half before the close. Then, of course, I screwed up the calculation. I went back on the 1 minute chart and realized, wait a minute, the gap fill is at 389.30. Well, what did we hit? 389.25. Could be a coincidence. So that could be a coincidence that we were 5 cents away, and not to mention there were a ton of calls sitting at 390, and so no way we were going there. But then, if you want a little bonus here, for those who love semiconductors, if you really want to know to get into semiconductors, just watch what happens to the dollar. If the dollar drops, semiconductors absolutely roar. Look in the video. The charts, I put something in the Discord last night, the charts have been terrible. Bear flags everywhere on these things. And yet today just absolutely roar when the dollar drops. It loves it, and they all rally together because that's exactly what happened today. And we can't leave the Qs out because look at that. I told you yesterday, watch this support line. If we break it, there's no support down until we get to the actual October lows, right? Well, we can't let that happen, so it bounced to the penny and then skyrocketed, just like everything else. See you later. Got in that golden pocket right there. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. And if you're getting anything out of this, please hit the like and think about sharing the video, guys. And so now the question is, what really happened today? What drove the market? Because, again, and I've said this before, what's bad for the economy, good for the market sometimes, right? And that's exactly what you see today. They pick and choose and cherry pick, trying to say, well, we need to paint a narrative because we got to get people to come in with us, right? We need retail. Flock on in. Let's go. Because inflation's coming down. That's the new narrative right now. Forget the hot unemployment or the hot employment stuff and everything like that. And the unemployment rate going to 3.5%. We don't need that. That'll eventually come because guess what? Now services starting to crack. We need at least one more, maybe two more reports to make sure that's the case because that's what's really been holding us up. is the service industry, right? But here's what really happened. Found this out about 3 o'clock, I believe it was. So you look right here. Told you, options run the market. Look at this right here. ODTE, same day expiring options. Call volume just going nuts today and may lead to an ODTE SPX record in percentage terms. 1 million calls traded so far today. 59% of those are tied to today's expiration. And those are heavily concentrated at 3890. This is the S&P. 3895. 3,900. You can see the numbers right there. And then when you look at this chart right here, and we click on that, you can see what I'm talking about with these expirations. And what have I showed you before, especially with Tesla stock, which we're about to get into, how a massive amount of call option buying for especially that same day can push the market up because the market makers have to hedge and then you usually have to go in and buy the stock, right? And so that's what you see happening all over the market today. I mean, that is a massive amount of call options. They're expiring today. And then you got, of course, weekly options expiring today as well, right? Friday is the big day. And so this is skewed. I put this in the Discord as well, like put call ratio, basically garbage at this point in time, right? Even max pain is starting to become garbage. I'm trying to look at it and figure it out. But if you have this kind of same day expirations being bought up at record levels, it skews the whole thing. And I actually looked at the chart I took a picture of this morning, and chart at the end as far as showing put to calls, it was totally opposite. There was way more puts this morning. At the end, the calls dwarfed them. And so pick and choose. Who knows what's going to happen Monday. But I also think somebody in the comments, I totally overlooked. I'm starting to think about earnings, or we're being held up for earnings. Totally forgot about CPI, right? Coming out next week. And so that's what we're looking at. I think it's 6.5 or something is projection. But that's what we're looking at. So guess what happened? You think it's going to happen if we hit 6.5 or lower. What's happened the last couple of times. So that's going to be interesting. And the Fed presidents had no effect today. They're rolling out talking. Don't worry, we're going to 5.1, all this crazy mess, no cuts. The market said, whatever. We don't care. We're going up, right? We're going up. We're going to end the week positive. That was the thing they really wanted to do more than anything. It was end the week positive. So that gets us into Tesla, right? And so the news broke last night that they ended up cutting their prices in China and Japan, I believe Australia as well. And so now what you're looking at is Tesla's entry-level vehicle, a rear-wheel drive Model 3, sells for $47,000 in the U.S. Tesla on Friday cut the Model 3 price in China by $36,001, about $7,000. That put the sticker price at around $32,700. The Model Y now starts at $37,000. So, of course, this is in Japan, South Korea, Australia, and Asia. So China is where it's going to be. And when you look at it, it was way down in the morning. Dropped, went down 7%. And then all of a sudden, boom, hits 101.47, I believe it was, and takes off. Look at the volume bars down there and stuff. But look at this move, 7.72% down from the open, around, was it 12% high up there? So you're talking about a 19% overall move for Tesla. That's huge for any stock. I don't care what it is, right? It's like a pharma stock move or something. And what did I tell you yesterday? If you watched the video yesterday, what did I tell you? There's a $100 put wall just sitting there. There's no way they can allow, the market makers can allow it to go to 100, especially under 100. It cannot happen. So what did you see happen right there? 101.47, whatever it was, and then just massive amounts of buying. There's no way they were going to allow it to get down to that. And if you look right here, reason why it stopped where it did, because it probably could have just kept going. There's the put wall I told you about at 100. Well, if you look over, to the right there, so there's no way that's going to happen. Well, you look to the right, you got all these calls, right? Well, where's the calls sitting at? Well, they're sitting at 115 and 120. Well, where do we end up for the day? 113, and then the high was like 114.50. Oh, shocker. Can't believe we didn't reach 115. I wonder why. It's just amazing, right? I mean, that's the way it is. And I'm going to tell you right now, and this is what's crazy. And then I'm going to share a quick story with you about something I think you really hope you understand. It's something I'm trying to get through to you on this channel. And, it's this, but I got to tell you about this. This just came across right before I started recording this. Tesla turns positive after price drop as crowds flock to stores, but they are actually protesters, not people there to buy the cars. And if we come through here, there's a video and everything. If you look at the video, hopefully you make this out. Look at the line of police officers. That's how I know this is a protest. Look at the line of cops coming in right there. Now, it could be all the cops coming on their lunch break to buy Teslas. That could absolutely be the truth. But China actually has a history of this. They did it in 2019. They've done it before. I don't know why they protest rate cut or the price cuts. Maybe they bought their Tesla last week and they're kind of upset, right? Because they had this big drop right there. But but understand, people started sending this all over Twitter. Come on, look, the China sales are going to be huge. Look at everybody flocking like it's Black Friday here, to buy Teslas. And ends up as protesters, not people coming in there to try to buy. I mean, isn't that amazing? And if that's one of the reasons it went up, boy, I mean, and of course, now the big thing is you saw a lot of calls coming through. I looked at the calls coming through around 9:45, 10, 10:30, 11. They just kept flying in there. And then, of course, I saw a lot of puts starting to be loaded up too. So Monday will definitely be an interesting one for Tesla. Right now, it's still in the range, but the chart is so damaged at this point in time. Who knows what it's going to do. But until that 100 put wall goes away, I don't see it going below 100 unless some catastrophic news happens. But think about it. Look at the news that's come out. First, they start doing discounts, never done them before, right? $3,750, a week later, $7,500 to max the tax credit, whatever it is. That didn't work. I'm going to give you 10,000 supercharger miles. That didn't work. Boom, here you go. Let's go ahead and cut prices. And magically, hold on, I found it. Oh, what happened was we had innovations in our production facilities that allowed us to cut the prices all of a sudden. Oh, okay. Guess that didn't coincide with a slowdown in China economics, or you missing the actual number for deliveries or anything. They found it. They found all that, but they haven't found it here yet. We didn't cut prices here, so I guess those same innovations don't apply here. I don't know. I'm just being sarcastic, but that's what they said anyway to justify the price cuts. Even though, for those who didn't listen to Elon Musk, he said his own words, was it last week or the week before, that he will sell these at no profit, right? Break even. And he said it's Econ 101. When the economy's slow, you do what you got to do to survive, right? So we'll see how far they go down with it. But now, this is the thing. You can click off if you're just looking for certain stuff to listen to. But I want to explain something to you real quick. And this is a very quick story. I met this guy when I was in the Marine Corps, right? When we were young, we were poor, both privates and lance corporals, that kind of stuff. And we were stationed in Japan. Okinawa, it's a big rock. Nothing to do there in the 90s. So I was watching theater and watch movies that are already a year old. And pre-internet and all that. And so we were broke and we wanted to go out drinking. It's Friday night, but we hadn't got paid, right? And so this guy says, hey, we knew him. And he says, man, let's just pool our money together and go find some slot machines. They played slot machines like crazy back in the 90s. The old lady just sat there with a cup of change, right? And so there's one on base. So we go. And we got $50, about $50. He changes it in. He sits there. He looks around as he walks in. He goes, those three right there. That's the ones we're going to play. Okay. Don't know why. Goes over there. By the time he was done, literally within 30 minutes, we walked out of there with over $200, right? And we were like just dumbfounded by what this guy had done. And come to find out, his dad ran a casino for years. And so what his dad did was he understood the game within the game, or the game behind the game, right? The casino's the game, but behind that, right, in the places you can't see, the casino's running a game on us, right, the customers. We just don't know it, okay? And so his dad, forget teaching him the game, he taught him how to play blackjack and that kind of stuff, but he taught him the game within the game, right? You hear this in sports a lot. And so what did he know? He knew what slot machines to play, and it may have changed, but back in the 90s is what it was. He knew what games not to play. So when we went to Vegas with him once, whole trip was free. First night, all the money we won, it was crazy. Now we're poor, of course, so we didn't make a ton of money, but it was enough to pay for the trip just off taking him to a casino. He knew what games to avoid. He knew what games to play and how to play them, and he won way more than he lost. I'll tell you, I've seen this guy multiple times, okay, do this. It was crazy because, why? It wasn't because he's lucky. He knew the game within the game, right? And it's the same way with the stock market right now. You're seeing this. That's why I show you this. Why does he show me this crap? Because a lot of people still think it's a free market, right? Everything's honest and love runs the world, not money, all this stuff. But the stock market's the game. Big money, they're running the game behind the game, okay? That's what they're doing with all these options, right? With the black pools, all right, or dark pools, I say black pools, dark pools, excuse me. Because at any minute, because there's no oversight to it, at any minute, Citadel, who buys our stuff anyway, can send all the sell orders into the dark pool and just route the buy orders in the market to run up like that. And they can do the same thing if they want to run it down. Nobody's overseeing them, no oversight. And there's a reason why Citadel during a bear market made billions in 2022, okay? Because they know the answers before the test is given out. That's just the way it is. Matter of fact, I think they're giving back a bunch of money to a bunch of customers for some reason, but that's neither here nor there. And so for me, my goal within 2022 was to learn to navigate a bear market because there's going to be plenty of them. 2, learn the game within the game or the game behind the game, whatever quote you want to use, right? That's my goal. You can do that. Don't do it. Still believe the market's free and all this other crazy mess and love runs the world if you want to. But this right here shows, and somebody put it in the Discord today and said, look at this crap. They were talking about Microsoft. I think it was puts or calls, whatever. They couldn't expire over 325, and Microsoft ended at 325.01 or something. It's nuts. But I've showed you so many examples of that. Go, could be a coincidence. Could be a coincidence, right? That we filled that gap up to what was it, 0.02%? It was like 5 cents or something like that before they sold us off, right? Could be a coincidence that the Q just happened to bounce right there on the support line because we don't want to go down. Could be a coincidence that Tesla just couldn't get to 100. Who knew, right? Maybe Kathy Woods is propping it up because she's been buying Tesla like it's cocaine or something. I mean, I'm just kidding. She's just killing it, with buying Tesla. And all that could be coincidences, or it could be the game within the game, right? And now we have access to a lot of information, dark pools, options trades, all the stuff we didn't have access to. And that's why the first people I know of that discovered the game behind the game is the GameStop people, right? And so they figured it out. They figured out the game behind the game. So don't hate the game. Hate the game behind the game. That's what you got to figure out, right? Or the game within the game, whatever. Which one sounds better, the game behind the game or the game within the game? I kind of like the game within the game. I think I like that better. And so, that's just something we got to figure out. That's something I'm figuring out, right? And so that's why you saw with Tesla. Why did it all of a sudden stop and go up, right? One, because big money knew. They knew that put wall was there. They're like, oh, we're not going down there. So they wrote it down, right, on the terrible news, and all of a sudden, wrote it right back up. I can guarantee you they made millions. Hundreds of millions were made today. Because the premiums on Tesla are insane, right, on the option start. So you can guarantee it. Some of you probably did it, right? And so that's the kind of stuff to be looking for and learning and taking the time to do it. I told you 2022 was the time to do it, right? What the heck was going on in the market? It's going down, right? And so that's the time to do it. This is the time to do it. Never stop learning, all that good stuff. This is it. So anyway, hope you got something out of it. Let me know in the comments what you think and stuff. And I'll see you guys Monday.